Yes, 14/2 NMB can be used for lighting loads in commercial buildings, including restaurants and tiki bars. 14/2 NMB, which stands for non-metallic building wire, is a type of electrical cable commonly used for both residential and commercial wiring purposes. It's constructed with two copper conductors, each having a cross-sectional area of 14 AWG, that is, American wire gauge, and it's rated for up to 600 volts. Lighting loads refer to the electrical power that is consumed by lighting fixtures. In commercial buildings, lighting often accounts for a significant portion of the overall electrical load. The use of 14/2 NMB for lighting loads in commercial buildings is permitted by the National Electrical Code, that is, NEC, which serves as the standard for electrical wiring and installation in the United States. According to NEC Article 210.19, conductors that are used for lighting loads must have an ampacity of at least 15 amps. The ampacity of 14 AWG copper wire is 15 amps, which meets this requirement. While 14/2 NMB is suitable for most lighting loads, there are certain limitations that must be considered. Firstly, the length of the circuit and the number of fixtures that are connected to it can impact the voltage drop and the power loss. Long circuit lengths or a large number of fixtures may necessitate the use of a larger wire size in order to maintain adequate voltage. Secondly, the ambient temperature around the cable can affect its ampacity. In high-temperature environments, such as kitchens or areas near heat sources, a larger wire size may be necessary. Thirdly, proper circuit protection devices, such as circuit breakers or fuses, must be installed to protect the circuit and wiring in case of an electrical fault. Overall, 14/2 NMB is an acceptable choice for lighting loads in commercial buildings, including restaurants and tiki bars, as long as the limitations are taken into account and the installation complies with all applicable electrical codes. To elaborate further on the use of 14/2 NMB wire for lighting loads in commercial buildings, let's delve into some additional technical aspects. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, is a comprehensive set of standards that governs the safe installation of electrical wiring and equipment. It's updated every 3 years, and it's essential for electricians and contractors to adhere to the latest version to ensure compliance and safety. When considering the use of 14/2 NMB wire, several articles within the NEC are particularly relevant. Article 210 covers branch circuits, which are the circuits that extend from the final overcurrent device, such as a circuit breaker, to the outlets. Article 210.19 specifically addresses the ampacity of conductors. As previously mentioned, the NEC requires that conductors used for lighting loads have an ampacity of at least 15 amps. This requirement ensures that the wire can safely carry the expected current without overheating. Article 240 addresses overcurrent protection, which is crucial for preventing fires and electrical hazards. Circuit breakers and fuses are designed to interrupt the flow of current if it exceeds the safe capacity of the wiring. The overcurrent protection device must be properly sized to match the ampacity of the wire. For a 14 AWG copper wire, a 15 amp circuit breaker is typically used. Article 310 provides detailed information about conductor ampacity. It includes tables that list the ampacity of various wire sizes based on factors such as insulation type, ambient temperature, and the number of conductors in a raceway or cable. It's important to consult these tables to determine the appropriate ampacity for the specific installation conditions. Article 334 covers non-metallic sheath cable, which includes NMB wire. It specifies the permitted uses and installation requirements for this type of cable. NMB wire is commonly used in dry locations within walls, floors, and ceilings. However, it's not permitted in certain hazardous locations or were subject to physical damage. When installing 14/2 NMB wire, there are several best practices to follow. Firstly, always turn off the power to the circuit before working on any electrical wiring. Secondly, carefully inspect the wire for any signs of damage, such as cuts or abrasions. Do not use damaged wire. Thirdly, properly secure the wire to prevent it from being pulled or damaged. Use cable staples or other approved supports to attach the wire to framing members. Fourthly, maintain proper spacing between the wire and other objects such as pipes or ductwork. This helps to prevent overheating and ensures that the wire can dissipate heat effectively. Fifthly, make sure that all connections are tight and secure. Loose connections can cause arcing and overheating, which can lead to fires. Use wire connectors that are specifically designed for the wire size and type being used. Sixthly, label all circuits clearly. This makes it easier to identify and troubleshoot problems in the future. Use a permanent marker, a label maker, to create clear and accurate labels. When determining the appropriate wire size for a lighting load, it's important to consider the total current draw of all the fixtures that will be connected to the circuit. Add up the wattage of all the fixtures and divide by the voltage of the circuit, which is typically 120 volts in residential and commercial buildings. This will give you the total current in amps. Make sure that the wire size is adequate to handle the total current. It's always better to err on the side of caution and use a larger wire size if there is any doubt. In addition to the NEC requirements, there may be local electrical codes that must be followed. These codes can vary from city to city and state to state, so it's important to check with the local authorities to ensure compliance. Some local codes may have stricter requirements than the NEC, so it's important to be aware of these differences. Furthermore, it's crucial to consider the specific characteristics of the lighting fixtures that will be used. Some fixtures, such as LED fixtures, have very low power consumption, while others, such as incandescent fixtures, have much higher power consumption. The wire size must be adequate to handle the power consumption of the fixtures being used. When installing lighting fixtures, be sure to follow the manufacturer's instructions carefully. This will ensure that the fixtures are installed safely and correctly. Also, be sure to use the proper mounting hardware and electrical connections. Improperly installed fixtures can be a safety hazard. Another important consideration is the type of occupancy. Commercial buildings, such as restaurants and tiki bars, may have different electrical requirements than residential buildings. For example, commercial buildings may require more stringent fire protection measures. It's important to be aware of these differences and to ensure that the electrical installation complies with all applicable requirements. In summary, using 14/2 NMB wire for lighting loads in commercial buildings is generally acceptable, provided that the NEC requirements are met, the limitations are considered, and the installation complies with all applicable electrical codes. It's important to consult with a qualified electrician to ensure that the installation is safe and compliant. By following these guidelines, you can ensure that the lighting system is safe, reliable, and efficient. Now let's expand on some specific scenarios and considerations related to using 14/2 NMB wire in commercial lighting applications, particularly in restaurants and tiki bars. Restaurants and tiki bars often have unique electrical demands due to the presence of specialized equipment, decorative lighting, and varying ambient conditions. Firstly, consider the types of lighting fixtures being used. In addition to general illumination, restaurants and tiki bars often incorporate accent lighting, task lighting, and decorative lighting to create a specific ambience. These lighting systems may include a mix of incandescent, fluorescent, and LED fixtures, each with different power requirements. It's essential to calculate the total lighting load for each circuit, taking into account the wattage of all the fixtures connected to that circuit. In tiki bars, which often feature outdoor or semi-outdoor spaces, it's important to use weatherproof lighting fixtures and wiring methods. This will protect the electrical system from moisture and corrosion. Weatherproof fixtures are designed to withstand exposure to rain, humidity, and other environmental factors. Consider the ambient temperature in different areas of the restaurant or tiki bar. Kitchens, for example, can be very hot due to the presence of cooking equipment. In these areas, it's important to use wiring methods that are rated for high temperatures. This may involve using a larger wire size or a different type of insulation. Also, consider the potential for physical damage to the wiring. In high traffic areas, such as walkways and service corridors, it's important to protect the wiring from being damaged by carts, equipment, or other objects. This can be achieved by using conduit or other protective measures. In restaurants and tiki bars, it's common to have dimming systems for the lighting. Dimming systems allow you to adjust the brightness of the lights, which can help to create a more comfortable and inviting atmosphere. When using dimming systems, it's important to use compatible lighting fixtures and dimmers. Not all lighting fixtures are compatible with all dimmers, so it's important to check the manufacturer's specifications. Furthermore, consider the use of occupancy sensors. Occupancy sensors can automatically turn the lights on and off based on whether or not someone is present in the room. This can help to save energy and reduce operating costs. Occupancy sensors are particularly useful in areas that are not frequently occupied, such as restrooms and storage rooms. Consider the use of emergency lighting. Emergency lighting is required in most commercial buildings to provide illumination in the event of a power outage. Emergency lighting systems typically consist of battery-powered lights that automatically turn on when the power goes out. It's important to ensure that the emergency lighting system is properly maintained and tested regularly. In addition to the NEC requirements, there may be other regulations that apply to electrical installations in restaurants and tiki bars. For example, some jurisdictions may require that all electrical work be performed by a licensed electrician. It's important to check with the local authorities to ensure compliance with all applicable regulations. In summary, using 14/2 NMB wire for lighting loads in restaurants and tiki bars is generally acceptable, provided that the specific electrical demands of the establishment are taken into account. This includes considering the types of lighting fixtures being used, the ambient temperature, the potential for physical damage, the use of dimming systems, occupancy sensors, and emergency lighting. It's also important to ensure compliance with all applicable electrical codes and regulations. Consult with a qualified electrician to ensure that the electrical installation is safe, reliable, and compliant. Let's delve into the practical aspects of calculating lighting loads and selecting the appropriate wire size for commercial applications. Accurately calculating the lighting load is essential for ensuring that the electrical system can safely and efficiently handle the demand. Firstly, gather information about all the lighting fixtures that will be connected to the circuit. This includes the wattage of each fixture, the voltage of the circuit, and any other relevant electrical characteristics. The wattage of a lighting fixture is typically indicated on a label or marking on the fixture itself. If the wattage is not readily available, it can be calculated by multiplying the voltage by the current. The voltage of the circuit is typically 120 volts or 277 volts in commercial buildings. Once you have gathered the information about all the lighting fixtures, add up the wattage of all the fixtures that will be connected to the circuit. This will give you the total lighting load in watts. Divide the total lighting load in watts by the voltage of the circuit to obtain the total current in amps. This is the amount of current the wire will need to carry. Consult the NEC tables to determine the appropriate wire size for the calculated current. The NEC tables list the ampacity of various wire sizes based on factors such as insulation type, ambient temperature, and the number of conductors in a raceway or cable. Select a wire size that has an ampacity that is equal to or greater than the calculated current. It's always better to err on the side of caution and use a larger wire size if there is any doubt. In addition to the NEC requirements, it's important to consider the voltage drop in the circuit. Voltage drop is the decrease in voltage that occurs along the length of the wire due to the resistance of the wire. Excessive voltage drop can cause lighting fixtures to dim or malfunction. To minimize voltage drop, it's important to use a wire size that is large enough to handle the current without excessive resistance. The NEC recommends that the voltage drop in a branch circuit should not exceed 3%. To calculate the voltage drop in a circuit, you can use the following formula: voltage drop equals 2 times K times I times D divided by Cm, where voltage drop is the voltage drop in volts, K is the constant for the conductor material, which is 12.9 ohms for copper, I is the current in amps, D is the one-way distance of the circuit in feet, and Cm is the circular mils of the wire. The circular mils of a wire can be found in the NEC tables. Once you have calculated the voltage drop, compare it to the allowable voltage drop of 3%. If the calculated voltage drop exceeds 3%, you will need to use a larger wire size or reduce the length of the circuit. In some cases, it may be necessary to run multiple circuits to reduce the load on each circuit. In addition to the wire size, it's also important to select the appropriate type of insulation for the wiring. The insulation type must be suitable for the environment in which the wiring will be installed. For example, if the wiring will be exposed to moisture, it's important to use a moisture-resistant insulation. The NEC provides detailed information about the different types of insulation and their permitted uses. Consider the ambient temperature in the area where the wiring will be installed. High ambient temperatures can reduce the ampacity of the wire, so it's important to select a wire size that is large enough to compensate for the temperature rating. The NEC tables provide temperature correction factors that can be used to adjust the ampacity of the wire based on the ambient temperature. Select the appropriate overcurrent protection device for the circuit. The overcurrent protection device, such as a circuit breaker or fuse, must be properly sized to match the ampacity of the wire. For example, if you are using 14 AWG wire with an ampacity of 15 amps, you should use a 15 amp circuit breaker. Using an overcurrent protection device that is too large can allow the wire to overheat and potentially cause a fire. In summary, accurately calculating the lighting load and selecting the appropriate wire size are critical for ensuring the safe and efficient operation of the electrical system. By following the NEC requirements and considering factors such as voltage drop, insulation type, and ambient temperature, you can ensure that the lighting system is properly designed and installed. Consultation with a qualified electrician is highly recommended to guarantee code compliance and safety.